Good afternoon, lads and lassies. It's the Irish Demon here, the second least bearded of the four beardsmen. Today I'm just doing a video just for fun, something that a lot of people actually have asked me to do. So I thought it'd be a little bit of fun to show you guys some of my my breeding setup for my fish. And so yeah, I did a bit of a busy day today selling fish and stuff, so I figured it would be a perfect day to show you guys, because I always do my my major tank cleaning on a Sunday, because you know, a week of moving around things in a fish tank, it can get a little bit messy in there. So I gave it a good clean today. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do like the video, make sure and hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Obviously, for anybody new who's just clicked on this title, this isn't usually the kind of video I do. I usually talk about political stuff or like current affairs or science or that kind of thing. So I won't be doing a ton of fish stuff. If you want to check out some of my other fish stuff, check out Lure Aquatics. I'll put a link in the description for you. Thank you so much. Enjoy, and we'll catch you later. Welcome to my back garden. It's in a bit of a mess right now. The dogs like to make it a little bit messy, but here we have one of my guppy breeding ponds. That is a pomegranate plant tree, whatever, that I grew from tiny little cutting. These are Carolina Reaper chilies all around here. Anyway, the more important thing, let me show you my fish room. Now, as you can see, it's a bit hectic and it's definitely noisy, so sorry if it sounds like absolute ass in here, but some of you guys wanted to see my fish room, so here we are. So as you can see, it's not the tidiest thing in the world. I try my best. She don't give me enough space. Anyway, let's go around the room and see what we got. So these have all just been fed, so they're pretty active. So right here we have, these are called candy koi guppies. Beautiful fish. Their color's awesome, super bright, super vibrant. So all my fish get genuinely the best quality food that I can give them, because that's how you get beautiful, healthy fish. Now in here somewhere there's some cherry shrimp hiding out. There's one hiding in there. I sold about 50 today, so I haven't got a whole lot left, and a lot of them will be hiding in among this mess over here. This is all done by design. These are not display tanks, so they're not going to look pretty, and I'll explain as we go. So here we have pingus. So these are another type of guppy, and there's a long fin catfish there. Sorry, I know the camera work isn't going to be wonderful now. So yeah, these are two female guppies. So as you see, they've got big round bellies. That means they're about to drop all their babies. They give birth to live young, so the young go and they swim in among all this mess, and that's why that looks so messy and stuff. It's literally just thrown in there. So one of my top selling items in the fish room is not actually fish at all, or indeed shrimp, even though I do sell a lot of shrimp. It's these little rocks and pieces of wood with moss and plants on, and yeah, that's my biggest seller. I can't see the male pinku in here. He's hiding somewhere, but anyway, let's move on. So here's another thing that I sell a lot of. This plant right here is it's called Windeleb Java Fern. There's one of my big breeding female shrimps. She's a nice one actually. So the fish we got in here, they're pretty cute little fish. These are a microfish. I love microfish. So these are called tiger endlers, or some people call them bumblebee endlers for obvious reasons. That one with the little yellow tail right there should not be in here at all. She's not a tiger endler. Can't really mix endlers. If you mix endlers and guppies together, you get all kind of what we call muck guppies, which is just a mixture of shit. So I've bred all these myself. These are really pretty fish actually. They're very attractive, and I've actually got these in my own personal display tank because I think they're so beautiful. Now these are great because they don't eat their own young, so you don't need a lot of mess like this. Right, moving on. So this is a hive of mess right here. So this has got a few different things in here actually, which are all hiding out. So right here we've got, it's called a ninja shrimp. Cool little shrimp, also known as a chameleon shrimp. They actually change color to match their surroundings. So if you put them in with another shrimp species like the cherry shrimp, They'll actually go the same color, but they're different shapes, so you can tell the difference. As you can see, they molt a lot, so that's an empty shell back there, which means that they're in breeding season essentially. There's some more on the glass over here, and all of this shit you see on the glass over here, that's all there on purpose. So that's just algae that I let grow, and I just clear the algae off the front glass so customers can see what they're buying. So there's 2 guppies in here that are really, really rare, and now of course they're hiding just when I want them to be at the front, but I'll get them out in a minute and I'll show you guys. They're just simply magnificent guppies. This is just some moss that I sell. This is super popular. This little tub is like 15 bucks and I sell a ton of these. So that is spiky moss, which I don't have any in the tanks right now that I can show you, and this is just Java moss. Now this is the darker side of the room because this is where a lot of the breeding, it's where the magic happens, ladies. So these are apple snails, or sorry, my fingers are gross from doing my garden. I just finished gardening. So these are apple snails or mystery snails. They've got a load of different names. You can see one up here eating the algae off the top of the plant. So these guys are really, really cool actually. They're super, super popular. They get a few bucks. They're about $5 each, which is pretty cool. So the fish we got in the background, that beautiful white guppy, he is magnificent. I just got him yesterday. So he's a painted white platinum. Cannot find a female anywhere for him, so I need a girlfriend for him. These little guys here, these are, hold on, it's on the tip of my tongue. So these are like a miniature cichlid essentially. Excuse me. So they're a type of ram, so they're known as a Bolivian butterfly ram. And the one behind here, he's a German blue ram. But they're a similar species, so they can be kept together. Having a guppy in there with them is not really ideal, but it's not a terrible thing. But isn't he awesome? Wow, I love that fish. There's a little tiny baby one right there as well. Getting that kind of white on a guppy is so hard to do. It's so rare. That's awesome. Moving on now, this is actually my favorite tank, even though it looks like a mess. In here I have one of the rarest fish that you can get in the hobby. It's called a wrestling half-beak. Check this guy out. Now these guys love to hide. So it's like a teeny tiny garfish. Here's one at the front. This is the male, and they kind of hang around at the front, and they look up all the time looking for prey. So actually, I'm just gonna show you guys what they look like when they're eating. It's pretty trippy actually. These guys will eat just about anything. They'll eat flake food, live food, worms, insects, you name it. And rather annoyingly, they love to eat their own young. Especially when you got a $50 fish, that is quite irritating. But here we go. So I'm just going to give them some flake food and we'll see. Sorry, I gave them pellets. So you don't want to have more than 1 or 2 males together because they will beat the shit out of each other. Yeah, it's a cool fish. One of my absolute all-time favorites. And I got one of these from Tay, which is just by some lucky coincidence. I was out there buying shrimp from her and she happened to have one that she didn't want anymore because they were beating the shit out of each other. Alright, moving swiftly onwards. This is a grow out tank. All I've got in here is literally tons of baby critters. There's some baby shrimp in there, there's some baby guppies in there, baby plants too. And yeah, so there's nothing of importance in there. This really gross looking tank, this is done on purpose, just so you know. All of that stuff at the bottom is not poo, it's called mulm, and these are grow out for the large female mystery snails to get them to breed, and that's why you got some floating plants up here. This next one's pretty cool. This is actually how you breed bettas, or Siamese fighters as some people would know them. He makes a little bubble nest on top, you plump in a female, they do the downstairs mix up, and yeah, he keeps the babies up here in his little bubble nest, and you put your finger in there and he will let you know. So yeah, as you can see, he's coming to tell me to piss off basically. He'll flare any second. He's a big boy. He's a candy koi placat, which is not rare as it used to be, but still pretty rare. So in here we've got garden-eyed killifish. Pretty nice little fish actually. Hopefully the male will turn around so you can see how colorful he is. He's a really cool fish. There he goes. Very active. There's a nice big fat female with him there, ready to breed. This is actually a fun little tank. In here we've got my Sakura Red cherry shrimp. Sorry, I gotta turn off the fan because I realize it's probably super loud. But yeah, they're the Sakura Red cherry shrimp, and there is some chili endlers in there. They're tiny, tiny, tiny little fish. She's just kind of having a time of her life there on the little water merry-go-round I've got made for her. I'm trying to see if oh yeah, there's the chili endlers, the little red ones. Really cute little fish. Now in here, this is a true parrot cichlid. He's really small right now. He's only about the length of my thumb. But in less than a year, he'll be about 3 or 4 kgs. So yeah. And this one next to it is actually a red rainbow, Australian native fish. This guy right here will bite you. You put your finger in, he will get you. And they're fast. And in the background, there's a pupfish. He's pretty cool. He's pretty harmless. Now in here, we've got another Sakura tank. So these are more Sakura Red. I bought these separately, actually. That's why I've got them in a separate tank. These are Fire Engine Red Sakuras. They've got that kind of nice light colored stripe down their back. Now, there's an old saying with shrimp. If you think you got 2 shrimp, you've probably got 10, because they love to hide out. And up here, these are Japanese blue endler females. I lost the male, sadly. I don't know what happened to him, but I think the shrimp took care of that situation. So yeah, that's another female right there, really, really red. And the kind of paler colored ones right here, they're the males. I had a friend who was trying to get the reddest red that he could get. There's a male and a female there. And yeah, he made the mistake of taking out all the ones that didn't look very red and wondered why he didn't get many babies. It was because you need male shrimp to have babies. Now, here we have an interesting fish. This is a wild type, this is a wild type angelfish. Now, I intentionally don't have a lot of light on here because I'm trying to breed these guys right now. So I've been monitoring the water like crazy. We've also got this one in here who's struggling a little bit. She's been like that for a long time, and I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. There's the sister. She came out white for some reason. But yeah, as you can see, that one, it'll swim around a bit. So these two are a really cool striped pearl angelfish. So they're kind of a wild type angelfish. And that's the male, I think. Yeah. He's like, get the fuck out of here. So you see this brown algae on the side? That's usually something that you want to get rid of immediately in your home display tanks. I like to have it on there because they pick at it all day. And it's really good for them. Makes them really healthy and strong. So I'm going to leave it right there. So I think she's a little bit sick because she's got a sunken belly. So I'm going to pull her out in a minute and put her in an isolation tank. Yeah, I didn't realize she'd gotten so skinny. Yeah, well, that's the joys of it when you've got so many fish. Moving on. This is a fun tank. So this is a mixture of stuff again. So in one of these tubes, usually she's hanging out. She's not here right now. We have what's called a crebensis cichlid or rock poulter. And back here we just got some young guppies. And they are what is known as ditherfish. There's the females hiding out back there. Now these guys are super freaked out at the moment because they actually just came in from the pond. So you can see those big fat females right there ready to drop a whole ton of babies. But yeah, they're super freaked out, so they're just kind of hiding in the corners because they don't really know what to do because they're used to being in a pond. But they'll settle down. I'll turn off the lights in a minute, and they'll find their own way, and they'll be perfectly fine. Hopefully that rock poulter will come out in a moment. There's a beautiful albino female back there. I'm gonna pull her out to try breed her with that white male. Okay, moving on. These are one of my favorite fish. This is the bluegrass guppy. Now you can see the male's tail is a bit knocked up. That's because he's in there with a ton of angry girls. They are just an absolutely beautiful fish, and under blue light they are, they're breathtaking. They're absolutely breathtaking. These are the fish that I have in that tall tank behind my my desk in my office that you guys can see in the background. See that big fat belly. That black spot is where all the babies are held. It's called her gravid spot. And I use a bio soil at the bottom. That stuff helps the plants grow, keeps the water nice and buffered. Next up, we've got a bit of a change of pace here. This is a Taiwan reef cichlid. She has got a ton of babies here, and they're about a month old. She is a voracious eater now because she wouldn't eat the whole time she was holding her babies in her mouth. So yeah, let's feed her. Let's see what she wants. Obviously, for keeping a fish like this is not the ideal tank size or anything, because you know, cichlids like a lot of space. But this is simply just a breeding tank, just a place for her to grow out her babies. The babies still need her a little bit at the moment, because if they get lost and they can't find food, she brings them to it. But they're big enough now, so I'm going to take her out of here probably maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. But yeah, she's looking really healthy. She's happy. She's got that nice big blue face. Moving on, this is just a mixed tank of really crazy amounts of plants. Lots of baby guppies and a few adult guppies in there too. And down here we've got a 55 litre baby guppy breeding tank, a grow out tank, sorry. So there's approximately, I would have to say, 300 or 400 baby guppies here. Everywhere you look, there's just guppies everywhere. And guys, I sell about 150, 200 guppies a week, either privately when people come to my rooms or to the fish stores. So yeah, you need a ton of guppies. And moving over here to this like utility area, these are some of my betta fish, also known as Siamese fighters. These are the placat variety. That's a big, beautiful dark rose-tailed male there. Now you might be asking yourself, oh my god, how are you keeping them all together? Well, yeah, usually they do fight, but these are all siblings, so they are better for a while together. Now, I also have some much bigger bristlenose catfish in there. It's my breeding stock. Got them from my good friend Jesse last week, so hopefully they'll start breeding soon. And yeah, that's all of the fish in my breeding. So this is the tank behind my desk. That's what the tail should like. As you can see, with the blue hue of light, it is just magnificent. So there's just one female, and I think, one male, and I think there's 2 females in here. Although, I can't see where the other one's gone. She's around somewhere. Ah, there she is. Down the bottom. She's a younger female, and as you can see, there's some babies in here. Now, these guys will eat their own babies, but they're super well fed, and there's lots of cover. So that's what that spiky moss looks like when it's actually stuck to a rock. Back there, we've got little catfish. I keep catfish and snails in here to keep the glass clean and keep down any nasties that we don't want. So yeah, these are my favorite species by far. Well, one of them anyway. Let me show you the other one. The tank that you see behind me. My desk is to my left right now. So we've got a mixture of stuff in here too. This used to be super pretty, but it's a little bit untamed right now because I am trying to breed everywhere that I possibly can. So I need to fill it with plants. Before we say any more, check that fish out. Oh, I knew he'd disappear. That's a rare fish to have over here, and I just wanted to show you that while he was out. So he's known as a hill stream loach, or a scooter fish, or a reticulated, can't ever say the word. There he is. He's awesome. Kind of like a little stingray type looking thing. Really cool. So yeah, I got this tank for free with like a $400 filter, and it had never been used. Okay, so these are all tiger endlers. There's a beautiful male there, really pretty male. I kept him in here as breeding stock, and the majority of the rest of them are females and little tiny babies everywhere. Nice big Anubis plant in the middle, Java fern all along the bottom, and just some random floating plants for the babies to hide out in. These guys don't eat their babies as much, but it's still good to give them a place to hide so they feel safe. You might be asking yourself, why is there a fork in there? Basically, you stick cucumber on the fork and drop it in there, and all of these little shrimp, which you can't see because they're the same color as the soil, they like to eat that, and so do the catfish. Right, swiftly moving on. We're just change over. These are the desk tanks. Now these are super overgrown. The water is super low, and that is done by design. So bear in mind again, these are not display tanks really at the moment. I'm just going to change to my other. Nope, that's not going to work. These aren't display tanks at the moment. These are just purely for breeding at the moment. So these are really rare shrimp. These are jade green cherry shrimp. So usually cherry shrimp are red or browny colored, but I've got tons and tons and tons of baby jade greens. Now what's so special about these? Instead of costing $2 like the regular cherry shrimp, these are about $15 a piece. And they are currently eating soy husk or soy snow as it's known. Look at those tiny babies, they're so cute. And yeah, so these are really cool shrimp. I love having shrimp on my desk, and they're a ton of fun. They're really great to watch. So I highly recommend, if you want a low maintenance desktop tank, shrimp tank. You rarely change the water because they don't use it, they don't create a lot of waste. There's the big female, big jade green female. They don't create a lot of waste, and they're really easy to keep. So yeah, highly recommended rather than a fish. You can put some microfish in here too, like little guppies, not guppies, little endlers or something. I know it's super loud in here, that's because my filters are all running right now. Let me just move around the light here so that it is not creating too much of a glare. Now these are super overgrown. If you want to breed a ton of shrimp, this is what you want to do. Have your tank super overgrown. Now in here we've got an awesome species, one of my absolute favorite. These are two different species. So the one on the left is the Blue Dream, and the one on the right is a Neocaridina or Caridina, I can't remember. Crystal Black Cherry, Crystal Black Shrimp, or CRS Shrimp. CRS is Crystal Red, so CBS, I guess. So you see all those little tiny bits in there? That is all part of that soy snow that I used to feed them with. Now, one of the keys to keeping these species, these won't interbreed because they're totally different species. Whereas the blue one will breed with a red one, for example, and these black and white ones will breed with the red and white ones, which I think have all died, unfortunately. So I've got lots of different moss in here, different plants, and beautiful piece of spiderwood, which you can't really see right now because it's so overgrown, and that just keeps the water at a level that they love. So yeah, I love these tanks. I absolutely adore them. They're tiny. My cup of coffee goes right here. I love them to bits. They're a bit grubby right now, but you know, got loads of babies, so I don't want to disturb the tanks too much. So yeah, let's move on. We'll check out the last ones. Are also super overgrown, again for the exact same reason. So let's start off with this one. So these are probably the most expensive fish I have. These are the red albino Moscow guppies. You might be thinking, really, a guppy that expensive? These babies are so hard to get because these fuckers love to eat their babies. They adore eating baby guppies. So I've got about 20 in here, and they're about $40 a piece actually. Now super overgrown for the exact same reason, so the babies can hide out, and that's exactly why I managed to get so many babies out of it. There's a little baby red and white crystal. I am so happy I just saw that because I thought they all died. So that is a massive relief to see that they are breeding. Isn't that so cool? That's a Santa Claus. There's some regular reds in there too. Again, ugly as shit little tank, but it does the trick, and that's how they like it. So this one's super overgrown too, and again for the exact same reason. Check her out. She's my prize female. She is a genuine Sakura Super Red, like legit. She is just phenomenal. And there's another one hiding out in there. There's a male back there. These are so cool. I absolutely love these. It's super overgrown, just the way I like it. But how cool is she, guys? She's awesome. I love her. She's probably the most perfect shrimp I have. Check out all those babies, man. All from a few females. Just awesome. Thank you so much for watching, lads and lassies. I hope you enjoyed checking out my my fish. It is my hobby, and it's, I guess, kind of
helps pay the bills these days. If any of you out there are fish keepers, I'd love to hear more. Maybe drop a picture on my Instagram, Irish Demon YT on Instagram. Anybody got any fish related questions or anything, definitely hit me up. I love helping people out with the hobby. Enjoy. Make sure and check out the Beardsman tonight over on JL Warren's channel, and we'll catch you next time. Sláinte.